Hey, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Unlocking Excellence with your main man, Eric Schwefel, coming at you for episode number, I don't even know what number it is. I want to say we're in the 60s, but I do know that we are in chapter 8 of the Principles of Abundance. So, y'all, if this is your first time listening, I appreciate you being here. What I like to do in this podcast is provide opportunities and the keys to a more excellent way of living, a excellent perspective, and an excellent way of life. Now, excellent is what you get to define, right? So, whatever that might be for you, if you want to check it out, listen to episode 1 first. And then, of course, I would encourage you to listen to the first of this series, the Abundance series, in order to get this down, right? Now, when you listen to this series, you're going to hear some really, really well-structured thoughts and words. They are not my own. As much as I wouldn't even want to claim them, to be honest with you, right? Because it doesn't matter whose they are. It matters that the message is getting out and that we're becoming more abundant version of ourselves. We're becoming the version of ourselves that we were always meant to be, right? Which is this abundant. What I've learned over time, y'all, is that we have actually been convinced that we are not abundant, that we are not spirit living in flesh. And we have been convinced to dive deeper into this form, which is great. Like there's a lot of great things. It's like being in the Matrix, right? There's a lot of great things that can happen in the Matrix, but when you start to believe that the Matrix is real and you start to really adhere to its rules instead of the rules of the creator, then something's got to be addressed, something's got to be changed, right? Before it gets too late. And that's what we're here to do, is we're here to remind you of just how freaking abundant and amazing you are, 100% from head to toe, all the way through. So with that, listen to the first series, right? Listen to chapter 1 first. It's going to give you a really firm foundation. It's going to let you know what's happening here. We're reading through the outline of a book called The Game of Life by Florence Scovel Shinn. She takes the Christian perspective on this. And I do like to mention different language, right? Different words. So if you're not comfortable with as the Father within, then you can say divine mind, you can say source, you can say the creator, whatever it is that works for you, the stillness that goes beyond understanding, right? The infinite prosperity of the abundant mind. Like you can make it whatever you want as long as it feels good within. So we just finished up chapter 7. We're moving into chapter 8, and chapter 8 is entitled Intuition or Guidance. All right, this one has a few more plot points than the last one, and it is so good. So as a reminder, remember that I'm reading from this outline, right? So if you want that outline, send me a message on social media or something. We'll get it out over to you. And then the other thing is, remember that I am also going to be inserting some of my own learnings that I've had over time here, and to take none of this as dogma, to take none of this as whatever you want to think of it. None of it is as truth. Find what works for you. I'm going to have some great gold nuggets in here, and then there's some things that you might not necessarily agree with, and that's totally okay, right? That's what's called living in a free country and having free speech is about. We can say what we want and we can agree to disagree. So with that, I hope that you enjoy this rendition of chapter 8's Intuition or Guidance by Florence Scovel Shinn. So number 1, as we dive into this, is nothing is too hard to achieve for the man who knows the power of his word and follows his intuitive leads. Oh, that's really good. Nothing is too hard to achieve for the man who knows the power of his word and follows his intuitive leads. Nothing is too hard to achieve for the man who knows the power of his word and follows his intuitive leads. I could say that. Yeah, I could definitely agree with that, right? Why? Because when you know the power of your word and you're connected to Jesus and you're connected to the Father, your creator, your source, then when you speak something and that you're going to create, okay. And those intuitive leads, those are gentle nudges, right? Those are gentle nudges that God gives us. All right, number 2, principle. God is our supply. Okay, first principle, God is our supply. There is a supply for every demand, and our spoken word releases our supply. Ooh, okay, if you didn't listen to anything and you just got this, here we go. Okay, God is your supply, and your supply is lavish, unfailing abundance, infinite prosperity, individualized as you. That's what God is. There is, at least as my understanding, there is a supply for every demand. So anytime you demand something, there's a supply for it. If you can imagine it, it's because there is a reason for the thing that you're imagining to exist. Our spoken word releases our supply. Our spoken word releases our supply. So by saying it, you allow infinite intelligence to work for you. So sometimes, those people that are just talking and you hear all the little kids who are just saying stuff like, blah, 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 blah. They're creating. So watch what you create, you guys, because saying something that you don't want to create will, if you're not careful and you go unconscious, it will call to you. You are setting yourself up, right? Man must make the first move. Ask and you shall receive. Oh, I love that. Man, you see how freaking direct it is? We know God is there. He's waiting for us. He's within us. Then what must be done is we get to make the first move. That's it. So I'm going to dive a little bit further into this on different episodes, but the masculine and feminine energy, right? It's the direction, the energy of direction, masculine. And of course, there's a lot more to it than that. And then with flow, right, with feminine, it is the abundance, it is the creative energy, right? So with that, guess what? We, the conscious mind, get to direct the unconscious mind. The masculine gets to direct the feminine. It's like this was all planned out and this is the way that's supposed to be. And we're getting confused in it in our daily life so that we don't know how to actually create things in our life, and we have to become dependent on those who teach us. Anyway, so sorry, my friend. Sometimes I go off on these weird little tangents of connections in the world. With that, man must make the first move. Ask and you shall receive. Number 4, how to make a demonstration. Okay, listen close. How to make it. This is how you do a demonstration. The first thing it says is speak your word and then do nothing till you have a definite lead. Okay, speak your word and then do nothing till you have a definite lead. Demand the lead. All right, this is what's going to happen. This is what is happening. This is what will happen. This is what's being done right now behind the scenes. This lead will come from intuition or a chance remark or a passage in a book. Y'all, how many times has somebody said, I was just thinking about this. This was what happened, or this is what it was, or this connection, or this synchronicity that happened. There's no other way that it could have happened besides this, but it happened. The lead will come from intuition, a chance remark, a passage in a book. This is what I learned from Gwendolyn, and it led to my marriage to joy. So sometimes when it says stuff like that, and when you hear me say stuff like that, it's from examples. It's from examples that are from the book that aren't specified. Tithing and other giving opens the way for receiving. When you tithe and other ways of giving, so tithing and being generous, opens up for receiving, the way for receiving. Don't demand just what you want, demand the perfect thing in divine mind. Okay, don't demand just what you want, demand the perfect right thing in divine mind. Give thanks that what was affirmed is already received. Intuition does not explain but points the way. Okay, I'm going to reread those again for you. Speak your word. How to make a demonstration. Speak your word and then do nothing till you have a definite lead. Demand the lead. The lead will come from intuition or a chance remark, a passage in a book. This is what I learned from Gwendolyn, and it led to my marriage to joy. That was the little comment. Tithing and other giving opens the way for receiving. Tithing and being generous opens the way for receiving. Don't demand just what you want. Demand the perfect right thing in divine mind. Give thanks that what was affirmed is already received. Intuition does not explain but points the way. Whew. Okay, that's directions for prayer too, right? Ask and you shall receive. Ask in a way of gratitude. Know that what's coming is what's coming. You're directing your unconscious mind and you're meeting yourself at the frequency. You're bringing yourself to the level that it's already happened, right? So I prayed like this for a long time, and y'all, I'm transitioning out. Lord, please help me. I need to be in this place. I need this thing, whatever it might be. And almost from a place of begging and a victimhood, right? Of lack. Now I know whenever I pray and I go into my secret chamber within my heart and I close the door behind me, I know to say, Lord, I am so grateful and thankful for X, Y, and Z. I'm so grateful and thankful for the body I want. I'm so grateful and thankful for the divine idea of the right body in the divine mind. And I'm learning the right words too. Like usually I say, thank you for a body that is aligned with divine mind, that's aligned with you, a blueprint of a body that comes with you, right? Or money that comes with you, or the partner that's the perfect partner divine for me, the perfect partner designed for me in divine mind, right? There is a mental correspondence. There's a mental correspondence for every disease. We might receive a healing through recognition that we are a perfect idea in divine mind. But if we continue destructive thinking, fearing, doubting, hoarding, hating, and condemning, and then the disease will return. We attract what we criticize and condemn and focus on. Ooh, we attract what we criticize and condemn and focus on. Ooh, for indecision. Affirm, I am always under divine inspiration. I make right decisions quickly. For indecision, affirm that I am always under divine inspiration. I make right decisions quickly. Don't look up to the psychic plane for guidance. I made that mistake a lot. For indecision, affirm this. I am always under divine inspiration. I make right decisions quickly. Don't look up to the psychic plane for guidance. It is it is a field of opposites, just like the mental plane. Go straight to spirit. Don't look to the psychic plane for guidance. It is a field of opposites, just like the mental plane. Okay, so this is, oh, I just dropped something. So this is where I used to be, right? Is I used to pray for a God that was outside myself. And like the reason I did that is because I just didn't really understand the principle that God was within me. Like I knew that the kingdom of God was within me. I know that prayer, but it's like it's almost like when I was praying, I was trying to send the prayer out into the universe, right? And then somehow, some way, it would reach God. It's like reaching Santa, right? And then it would come back to me, and then that's how it worked. That's how I believed it to work for a long time. And then I realized, like, I started studying and seek and you shall find. Like, seek me and you shall find, right? Come and see. He tells us everything. And what I ended up learning is that the kingdom of God was within, right? The spirit which is within, the ability to create is within you and within us and within me and within you. So it makes all the difference to know that what you're seeking is within you. It's not anything that's outside of you. So for every supply, every demand, there is a supply. So if you demand something and within you, right, and you ask for it, it's going to provide for you. That's the amazing part. And then being able to navigate that and being okay with that navigation, it's really an amazing thing. You know, for me, it's been tough to dive into the surrender process of the supernatural, because we live in a 3D world, right? We live in this natural world where you go outside and you touch something and you feel something and you see something. It's very logical. Like people are very illogical. People are very emotional, but they live in the real world, like stuff's real. You touch and you feel, and then you start to dive into the spiritual world and you really see how this world is just an upside down world. Right is left, Left is right, up is down, down is up. It's like Alice in Wonderland. It's like Wonderland. If you press this to make it small, it actually makes it big. So you better pick it up in order to make it smaller. It's actually the thing across the room that makes it small, right? Like, it's never what you think it is. So with that, go straight to spirit. Go straight to spirit. The prodigal son. It is God's will to give us all that we need and more in every righteous desire of our hearts. But it takes an effort of the will to have that faith. It is much easier to fall back into race belief. Faith is an effort of the will. So don't go to the psychic plane for guidance. It is the field of opposites, just like the mental plane, the psychic plane, the astral plane, the mental plane, the emotional plane. Go straight to spirit, the prodigal son. It is God's will to give us all that we need and more in every righteous desire of our hearts. But it takes an effort of the will to have that faith. It is much easier to fall back into race belief. Faith is an effort of the will. When one has made his demand upon the infinite, he must be ready for surprises. Everything may seem to be going wrong when in fact it is going perfectly right. For those that can't see and that are listening, I'm smiling right now. Nothing that belongs to you by divine right can be lost in divine mind. So anything that seems to be lost will be returned, or let me turn the page, or be its equivalent. So nothing that belongs to you by divine right can be lost in divine mind. So anything that seems to be lost will in time be returned, or its equivalent. When a man makes his spiritual stand, all that is his by divine right is restored. Joel 2:25. I will restore to you the years the locusts have eaten. The locusts are the doubts, the fears, regrets, resentments of mortal thinking. Man is here to prove God and bear witness to the truth by drawing plenty out of lack and justice from injustice. When a man makes his spiritual stand, all that is his by divine right is restored to him. I will restore to you the years the locusts have eaten, said Joel in chapter 2, verse 25. The locusts are the doubts, fears, regrets, resentments of mortal thinking. Man is here to prove, we are here to prove God. We're here to prove to God. We're here to prove God and bear witness to the truth by drawing plenty out of lack and justice from injustice. So how do we do that if God isn't within us? We can't. How do we do that without the Spirit? We can't. Has to be from the Spirit first. Has to be. I love you. You're unstoppable. Have a great day. We'll talk soon. Share this out. Peace.